resources and officers and money is the state offering to Myrtle Beach right now?
We have agreed this is a great assemblage of law officers and professional law enforcement people, and we'll do whatever it takes to be sure that what we believe is an aberration in one of the finest family beaches in America does not happen again. Whatever it takes, we're going to do it all.
Do we have numbers in terms of funds and boots on the ground yet?
We do. There'll be a lot more boots on the ground than there were. As I say, these various agencies are all pitching in, and there will be plenty of boots on the ground, as you say. There'll be plenty of professionals, some visible, many visible, and some not noticeable.
But do we know how many?
Many more.
What would you tell visitors or tourists who may be on edge about coming into South Carolina and Myrtle Beach after the recent fire?
I'd say this is an aberration. Myrtle Beach has never been like this, and it's not that kind of place. We know, for example, that these young men involved in this incident were from North Carolina. These most were young, 17, 18 years old, and here for the high school senior year. They've been identified, a lot of them. We know where they came from, and we know how to handle and respond and to prevent things like that. And I can assure anyone that whatever it takes to be sure that this aberration is not happening again will be done. We've got men and women in law enforcement, prosecution, public safety in that room that cannot be excelled anywhere in the country.
We've heard from police at least one of these was gang related. What are we doing in South Carolina to combat that problem? And it's obviously a problem that we've had in our area.
Well, we think this was not a gang event, but you always have people, anywhere you find young people, you're liable to find some that may be associated with the gang somewhere at one time or another. But this began simply as a crowd that got rowdy, got out of control, and of course there were firearms involved. But again, probably the best professional team in the country is now being assembled to be sure that this does not happen again. We don't want it to happen in any of our towns, in any of our cities, anywhere on the coast or anywhere else.
Governor, this is the second time in the last 3 years the governor has had to come here to address something like this. Are you worried about the image of Myrtle Beach changing from a family-friendly destination to not so family-friendly?
I think Myrtle Beach is one of the most popular destinations on the East Coast, and for many years it has had a marvelous reputation. I mean, I think that this will hurt it, but we just want to be sure that everybody is comfortable when they come here or when they live here. We're not going to tolerate this kind of activity. I think a lot of the visitors who were here last weekend maybe were not as aware as they should have been that we won't tolerate this kind of behavior. The message is going to go out loud and clear starting right now.
These shootings also came as we have vacancies in the Myrtle Beach Police Department and the Horry County Police Department. What can we do about that?
Well, we always need more good policing, of course, but we are fortunate that we have well-trained officers, undercover and otherwise. And again, with the Department of Public Safety, with SLED, and with others, you saw all the people in the room, we have a great team. And we're confident we have the team in place, we have the materials, we have the equipment to do all that is necessary to see that this does not happen.
And is there any concern at all that a heightened police presence might deter people who are coming here looking for a relaxing environment?
We don't think so. These police officers are not strangers to this area, and they know how to police, and some will be quite visible and others will not be, and that's the way good policing works.
What does the city of Myrtle Beach mean to the South Carolina economy?
City of Myrtle Beach, the whole area, the entire Grand Strand, which is historic in its reputation, means a whole lot to the entire state of South Carolina. People love to come to the beach, and in this part of the country, when they say let's go to the beach, so many people are talking about Myrtle Beach, about the Grand Strand, North Myrtle Beach, on down to Hilton Head and even beyond. So it's very important. Our tourism industry is huge, it's very important to us. But so are the lives, safety, and property of all the people who live here, people who are working here, children. So whatever it takes to be sure that everyone is safe, sound, and happy, we're going to do.
Last question for the governor, please.
What does this say about the state of Myrtle Beach right now that you actually have to be here talking with law enforcement about how we're going to keep people safe?
Anytime I can come to Myrtle Beach, I'm going to be here. I love it. I've been coming to the Grand Strand, Myrtle Beach, Pawleys Island, Myrtle's End since I was a child. And I'm not going to quit. It is a great, great place. We view this as an aberration. It's something that had some young folks who are not aware that you can't cut up like that. You can't hurt people like that. It's just not tolerated. You think when they understand that and when they are aware of the arsenal of police and response and safety, public safety and power that's being brought to bear to be sure it doesn't happen again, maybe they'll think we're on the way up and want to keep doing it.
Governor, in terms of law enforcement, we were just talking about how there's going to be many more officers in the Myrtle Beach area. The state's going to pledge its resources. We already have an issue filling positions. We just hired 5 new officers. It's going to take a year to get them on the street, partially because of the Criminal Justice Academy. There's one in the state. Should there be more money devoted to training for law enforcement to fill these vacancies more quickly?
We need more money devoted to a lot of things. But we are, of course, we're managing scarcity. What we must do is create abundance. And the way you do that is by having economic growth. So that's the main thing that we must concentrate on is that economic growth. But in terms of the situation in Myrtle Beach that manifested itself vividly last weekend, you saw all the law officers and agencies in that room today. That's something you don't see everywhere you go. And those officers know each other, they're professionals, they have ample resources, and they'll, as I mentioned earlier, there'll be a strong police presence, both seen and unseen, to ensure that we don't have this kind of problem.
But is training another long-term fix to sort of help some of these vacancies?
Training is a long-term thing. It must be done. Education of children as well as law officers. But we got a lot of things we need to do. And if we have strong economic growth, we can do those things.
Specifically, what assets are you committing to the area for, to address the
Those that we have the Department of Public Safety, the State Law Enforcement Division, the U.S. Marshal's Office was there, the solicitor was there, of course. That brings into question about prosecution and bond and who gets out of it. Law officers will tell you if someone comes to a vacation spot and knows they cause trouble, they will be in jail the whole weekend and not just go in and get right back out and go continue. They may think fine. We want to send a message to those who come to Myrtle Beach or anywhere in that state to cause trouble. That's not tolerated here. And that was a real show of force among those law officers. And we've got an arsenal of police power in this state, and as much as it takes to be sure the people in property are safe will be used.